Hey there, I'm going to make another video. This one's not going to be a quick one because I think I'm talking too quick and I'm not explaining this properly. We still have a couple of issues with this. Version 13 is not running, by the way. I sent you a little text. I don't know whether you got that. This is version 12 still, which works fine. When I start this up, everything is on. The 3 of these clocks will be on zeros. And that one usually has the stack number on it because it's trying to talk back and forward. So the first thing you do is you hit the 2 flip buttons and it flips them up and everything comes on. So the issue we're having at the moment, and on the last video I forgot to mention this because I'm getting confused with this setup and this one alone in my head, so I can understand how I'm not explaining this properly. So at the moment what we have here is, this is the full radio stack here, which is digital, which is the exact same as what we're looking at here. Now, if you look at what we have on the screen here, I don't know whether you can read it, but I'll call them out anyway. So you've got 119.05, 119.05 on COM 1, right? Now, the second one I have here is 131.55, which is 131.55 on COM 2. That should not be. We should be 119.05 on this one, and then the standby number on this one should be 12877. So the standby. So this should be only COM 1 and standby 1. Now we've got the same thing going on down here. We've got 11360, and then the next number is 110, and this is on the nav. So that's COM 1, or nav 1, and that's nav 2. We shouldn't have that. It should be nav 1 and standby 1, which is this one. So this radio is actually only emulating one portion of this, it should be. Not this number, this number, this number, and this number. We should be COM 1, standby 1, nav 1, standby 2. And then when I flick this switch, these two numbers should jump these two numbers, right? Which is COM 2. So it would be COM 2 and then standby 2. Same thing with this. I flick this button, that should flick between nav 1 and nav 2. And this should flick between standby 1 and standby 2. But the two of them should flick together. They stay together in pairs. So that's not happening either. I have, for some reason or other, my switches don't seem to be working. I will look into that at a later date. But for the time being, I'll show you why we need to do this. So I'm on what now? I'm going to get on COM 1. Right. Okay. So this switch is working. And what it's doing at the moment is you're switching between COM 1 and COM 2, but like I said, I explained the first bit earlier. If I keep going around in circles, I'll even confuse myself more. So for the time being, what we're doing is we're only going to run on this one. On COM 1, we don't have a standby to run with anyway. So we're not going to bother with the standby. But as I'm flying, you'll see why that you have to have the standby. You'll see the reason for it. And this one we have nav 1 and nav 2, which is actually going to work out pretty cool. Except for this switch doesn't work for me. It's probably just in the switch. I just found the airport by accident. It's on 1210. But we'll work with just nav 2, or I'll work it off the screen for the time being. So I'll show you why you need radios and comms and all of this nonsense. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to file a flight plan. File a flight plan, which will be this. It's been a while, so you'll have to forgive me on me making mistakes with this because it's been a while since I've actually done any flying. So I've probably forgotten half of whatever it is. So we're going to tell this flight plan that we're going to. We're going to go from EIDW at 2,500 feet to EIDW, which is Dublin to Dublin. You file your flight plans because you're supposed to tell the FAA or the flying board, whatever they call in Ireland, um, where you're coming from and where you're going to. And when you file the flight plan, you can designate every leg of it that you're filing, and then they know where you're going when you're flying. If you go down, if you don't show up at the other end, you have to check out as well. Um, or you can just fly out of an airport and tell them where you're going, and then you tell them that you're going to fly on your own navigation. The commercial planes, when they fly really high, file all of that stuff. The smaller planes don't seem to bother with it as much. But you can file your whole flight if you want, or you can just sort of wing it. With this one, we're going to tell the plane, we just told them that we're going to take off and land. We're going to look to 2,500 feet, cruise around a bit, and then land. So, next thing is we talk to tower. So to talk to the tower, I know if I press A on this, I programmed it, it gives me the frequencies instead of me having to look them up. By right, you should have a little book like this set up with all your notes and your bits and pieces of what airport you're flying in and out as the, well, when you're training. Or landing, I should say. Okay. Now, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to, we have to go to clearance delivery. It's clearance or delivery. I call it clearance delivery. It sounds like some weird thing, but it's not really. So we're going to go to, it's on 2187. So we're going to go 87. 87. My numbers are the wrong way around. The Robert numbers are, let's see, 21? 21. But I'll figure that out. As you can see, it lit up just there, so I know that I'm on the right frequency. Right, so I'll just file with them. We are here at the airport, so we're going to be coming out. We're either going to be heading west or not west, which is fine, whatever one we end up on. This guy will give us, he'll tell us what way we're going to go anyway. So we're going to request
Charlie, Golf, November, Bravo, X-ray, Echo, India, Delta, Whiskey, altimeter 3041.
So he's telling me to set my altimeter to 3041. And then you read back all your transitions.
India, Delta, Whiskey, altimeter 3041. Charlie, Golf, November, Bravo, X-ray.
3041. And that's the first thing you do when you get in the plane, I guess? Is they tell you what your altimeter is at. Now, even though that says 41, and it puts us at nearly 200 feet. I don't understand any of that, but yeah, I don't know. I just don't get that. Why would it be? But there's lots of things that I don't understand in this. Anyway, so the altimeter is set for 3041. We're going to request
Charlie, Golf, November, Bravo, X-ray, cleared IFR to Echo, India, Delta, Whiskey, as filed. Maintain 3000, squawk 4701.
So he's telling me to squawk 4701. This is a squawk. That's the recognizer signal, so he'll know who I am. 4001, he said?
Charlie, Golf, November, Bravo, X-ray, cleared IFR to Echo, India, Delta, Whiskey, as filed. Maintain 3000, squawk 4701.
Yeah, 4701. That's a weird one. You know how many
Charlie,
4700?
Golf, November, Bravo, X-ray, cleared IFR to Echo, India, Delta, Whiskey.
So he's telling us
as
that
filed.
we're good
Maintain
from
3000, squawk 4701.
I'm turning it down because he's loud. 4701. So he's telling us that we're clear to fly from Dublin to Dublin at 3,000 feet. I filed for 2,500 feet, but he filed us for 3,000 feet. The reason for that is they're in 500 increments, whether you're going east or west, like traffic lanes. So 500, 2,500 feet would be north or heading east.
Charlie, Golf, November,
And what you're doing.
Cleared IFR to Echo, India, Delta, Whiskey, as filed. Maintain 3000, squawk 4701.
This was a real dude I was talking to. He'd be peed off at me because you're supposed to read back your transmission and do whatever he tells you to do when you're doing it.
4701, Charlie, Golf, November, Bravo, X-ray.
So he knows I'm squawking and I'm on that, and I read that I'm allowed to fly from back to front and whatever on it. So I'm finished with ground clearance with them now because they know that's just filing the flight plan. So the next one is to do We'll do it manually. I'm so used to doing it. So the next one is I got to jump over to 2180, which is ground control. Now we're on 2187. So this is why you have to use the flip switches. When you're in around an airport, they use the same frequencies, like the IFR and the ILS and the VOR around this airport. They're all the navigation beacons. They'll all be on like 111.5, 111.55, 111.75, numbers like that. So this is why the standby, the flickover thing is super important, because you'd come across the wrong frequency and you wouldn't know that you're on the wrong frequency. Well, you would if you could read Morse code and it was beeping to you. Which I will show you that anyway. We'll go through all of it when we're taking off. So you can see that I'm just waffling here trying to explain as much as I can of this. So let's do first thing first. We'll fire up the motors because I don't have any stuff set up. I'll do them like this. You should do it properly. Hydraulics. Should turn on our lights, which are the logo, beacon, and nav. We don't need taxiing or anything yet because we're not taxiing anywhere yet. And this is the APU. The APU is a hydraulic, turbine, electric, you name it. Some of these machines have everything connected to them, but what they do is they produce heat and power and everything for starting different motors and different hydraulic systems and everything else. So the APU is the first thing that you get fired up. You can even hear it. It sounds like a jet when it's starting on its own. We'll do engine bleeds. You gotta bleed your engines before you start them. Just the altitude thing, which causes me to faint every now and then. We'll keep the fuel transfer on center. And then we have to turn PO heat on. So then, boys. And we're good to go. So look outside. Absolutely pitch black. We're in Dublin Airport because we can't afford electrical lights around here. Okay, and then we fire the motors. As you can see, the motors and the gauges here firing up. Just popped it up and running. Whoa! We've got no brakes on. I just had a roll in there. Holy moly, Batman. Engine number 2. Now, I'm not navigating by anything until we get up into the air. I could go and look for a VOR for the flange when we blaze out of here. Maybe I should do that while the motors are warming up. Nah, we'll do it when we get off the ground. I don't want to make this video any longer than I have to. Igniters are off. Idle down to low idle. We're already on low idle. Forgot to start them engines. That's good. Seem to get sidetracked so easy. There's so many different things sort of going on here. They're never going to start if I don't turn them on. Bad boy starting on his own. This dude. Alright, we have engines are up and running. Next thing we're going to do is go to ground control, which is on 2180. 2180. And we are going to tell them We're going to request a taxi.
Charlie Golf November Bravo X-ray runway 28 taxi via 16 hold short of runway 28.
So we're going to have runway 28, which means it's going to have a bearing heading of 280. So I am going to set our heading out bearing. As you can see, it's working on this one here, and you can see he's going around on this little dial here. I'm going to set in for, what did I say, 280? Nothing comes to this stuff.
Charlie Golf November Bravo X-ray runway 28 taxi via 16 hold short of runway 28.
Okay, 28. So we got to read it back that transmission to him. Otherwise he keep bugging us.
28 taxi via 16 hold short of 28 Charlie Golf November Bravo
there we go.
X-ray.
As you can see, in this game it's very handy. Throws a big arrow on the ground for you. We will do brakes off and we'll taxi up. And I'm getting a frame rate of like 18, 19, 20 at the moment, which is pretty bad as far as I'm concerned. And is that runway making me run through that building? Oh, there's genius for you. Yeah, I'm just gonna follow this thing anyway. This is an aftermarket or a rolled on video, so it should roll through with the plane. I'm trying to get a different view. You know what? Let me put the brakes on here. And change the time of day because it's just silly in the dark. It's on real time, so that's why I was doing that. No, it wasn't real time. Alright, let's get out of this so you can see what's going on. I'm going to put her in reverse. Parking brake off. Reverse thrust. Just needs to get out of there. I presume the auto generating for the taxiing doesn't read. See, it's seen that I'm off that line. It's trying to reset me, but I'll find it on the other side of the building. Yeah, my frame rate's going through the floor. 13. I think that's the line over there. You're allowed to do 50 mile an hour in airports, believe it or not.
Charlie Golf November Bravo X-ray runway 28 taxi via 16 hold short of runway 28. Runway 28 taxi via 16 hold short of 28.
Read back.
Golf November Bravo X-ray.
See something? See? Make me drive around to the airport there, Lola. That's okay. It wants me to taxi up this way. Take a little speed. Apparently this is real-time weather in Dublin. I don't think so.
Runway 28 taxi via 16 hold short of runway 28.
Absolutely, I heard you, buddy. Read back transmission to him.
Runway 28 taxi via 16 hold short of 28 Charlie Golf November Bravo X-ray.
Oh, today I'm gonna just count the pins to see if we can get that radio stack, that single radio stack onto a nano. And we should think about how much. I mean, if we do the 8 stack with these with the double radio, we're actually only just gluing two of them together, to tell you the truth, and we're cutting out some of the switches. Well, how much do you think we could sell that for? I would think about that. I'd like to get a reasonable price for them. I mean, I'm thinking in around 250 for a single. It's got to be 350 for a double or for a full radio stack, and I think they'll sell. I know it seems like you spend like an awful lot of money on an instrument for. Where are you sending me? For God's sake, man! You're sending me back into the airport. No, you're not. You're just making me wiggle. I'm burning a bit of brakes off this thing. But yeah, the radio stack is definitely going to be a single seller that will go. And then after that, the next one is definitely the autopilot. If I ever get out to this runway and get this flight on the road. Now, what would happen is now I would be normally being on radio 2. I would be programming. I'm walking a chewing gum now. I would be programming tower for takeoff when we hit this line here because we're going to be talking the runway. So I would have tower already put in and it would be 1860. So we should be on number 2 here. 60. 1860. I've got to reset these pins. Some of them you go this way, the numbers go down. Some of them you go that way, and the numbers go up. 1860. And then the problem with this is when I would be programming that on a standby, I would just flip the standby, and it would flip between them two. And I know that this sounds weirder, but you physically have to go up here, and I will have to flick over to the COM 2 on that input there. Which doesn't really make it sound like much of a difference, but I presume the standby stuff is the same thing to stop you from making mistakes and falling into channels that you shouldn't be falling into. If it makes any sense. Alright, we'll roll up here. This guy is going to tell me to talk to tower. You should. There's a break. Alright. No? Maybe not. He's sending me over to another runway? You gotta be kidding me, dude. He's making me drive around the airport. I know the two runways are nearly in line with one another over here, so can't be going too far. I mean... Okay, now I see what's going on. That's 280. He's trying to get me there. But this would never happen. They would never make you run up a runway. You would cross it here and go that way. But I will do what he's asking me just to, so I don't lose tower control. Because if you make any errors on this, it cuts you off from him flying you or talking to you at the air traffic control system. Even though you end up driving like a lunatic around the airport. But there you go. Like I said, I'm not really flying this as a simulator or a simulated flight. It's just more for to show you about the radius and that I wouldn't be goofing around the way I am. Okay. Finally. So you got to read back to him and you would be like, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to contact tower on 118.6, which I've already probed him over there. So now what I would normally do that, put onto standby 118.6, say goodbye to him, hit the flip button, and it would flip over. In this case, we're going to flip over the COM button up here. And then we will check in with the controller. So this is flight control as in and out of the airport. So there's 3 people you talk to on any decent commercial airport.
X-ray, fly heading 280, runway 28, clear for takeoff.
Back to him.
Heading 280,
Brakes off.
28, clear for takeoff. Charlie, Golf, November, Bravo, X-ray.
And then we will do flaps down 1/3. Right? I didn't hear any flaps going down. Why are we not getting flappies? Okay. I wonder if this is a weird version of a plane that I have installed. I don't mean a weird version of a plane. My keyboard has gone back to a default one for some reason. So if that's after happening, I'm going to be buggered. I can't put my flaps down. That makes no sense. And on this plane, I don't think these buttons, these handles work. No. So that's a good one. We'll fly without flaps. I know you shouldn't do that, but you know what? Yeah. So here's another one. This is the radio stack. This is what we're going to be building. Or not the radio stack. This is the autopilot. And this is some pretty funky stuff. So on the autopilot you have the flight director. So you can turn that on. I've never read the book on this. I should really read a book because you can turn on the flight director and it actually does control the plane, but it doesn't fully control it. You put it on auto, it does everything on it. So the information coming into your flight control or your autopilot is going to be coming in depending on your lock. So you have a heading, which is just whatever direction you pick. We picked 280 on this one, which we should line up close enough to 280. So your input is either a heading, and your direction is either a heading, or you can lock it where it is, or you can tell it, I forget which one it is, you can tell it to follow either the navigation or the GPS. So you got nav on this plane, it has navigation 1, navigation 2, GPS 1, GPS 2, which is nav 1 and nav 2 in your radios, because this is where you're telling this to talk to. Alright, if that makes any sense. So we're going to be we're going to set our altitude for 3,000 feet. These are 2 more buttons that every plane we should be putting a rotary encoder on to change your altimeter for you. Because as you can see, it takes forever. There's got to be a way of doing this in thousands and in hundreds, which would be nice to have 2 buttons, or even a button that you can press it, make it shift in thousands, and then press it again and it shifts in hundreds, which is probably a good idea there. Because as you can see, it takes forever for me to get this down. And when you're flying, it's near impossible to do. Alright, 3,000 he said, right? Otherwise he'll be bitching at us. And the heading is 280, I said this is, right? I don't see any numbers on this anywhere that tells me where a heading is, even on any of these. I mean, I know that's 270, so that's got to be 280 here, right? So we're going to tell it that we're going to take off with a vertical speed of, this plane, it does not take off that great, it's not like a jet. So we'll do it like 1,500 feet a minute, which means you get up to 3,000 feet, it should take us 2 or 3 minutes, 2 minutes, in theory. Well, we're already, in theory, with this airport, for some reason, we're 200 feet off the ground. I think I said that to you. So, and then we want to set our cruise speed for, let's do 165, because we're going to be climbing. We can't ask the plane to be doing 250 miles an hour, because this is 4 engines in there. It's very cool. This plane lands at like 75 miles an hour, and it can carry huge weight. So we're going to lock our heading on. This is speed control. So sometimes, by the time I hit a couple of these buttons, and it starts to take off on its own. We're cleared with Tara, we're clear with everybody, so we don't have to tell anybody anything. See, it's already revving up. So I'm going to take the handbrake off, and she'll start floating off down the runway. Now the only thing I'm really going to do is on these things with the autopilot is, you just use the rudder to keep it steady for wind or anything. I never checked wind or anything else. You're supposed to check all of these things to know which way your plane's going to blow before you get out the runway. Now I'm going to put the autopilot on. We're getting up to 107. We have no flaps, so we're going to need a lot of speed just to get off the ground. There's a bit of a hump here, that might help us. Woo! Rotate. And up she goes. Gonna do gear up. Ah, Jesus, that scared the life out of me. These are the birds. Bring that engine. You gotta be kidding me, dude. They knocked out number 1 and number 3. How am I gonna show you any of this stuff?
Charlie Golf, November, Bravo, X-ray, contact center on 135.95.
Read that back to transmission time. I don't know whether we can fly now. I've got no flaps and no engine. What am I doing here, dude?
Contact center on 135.95. Charlie Golf, November,
135.
X-ray.
Alright, 95. Do love this, though. Do love a radio that works. Unbelievably cool. So these guys are after. I'm gonna talk to these.
Center, Charlie Golf, November, Bravo, X-ray.
Now, I don't know how Bad Boy here is going to try and fly on his
Charlie
own.
Golf, November, Bravo, X-ray, fly heading 180. Vectors for the visual, runway 28, climb to maintain 3000.
Right, the autopilot. I'm gonna have to turn the autopilot off.
Charlie Golf, November, Bravo,
I'm gonna have to get rid of this dude because
80. Vectors for the visual,
he is
runway
never.
28, climb to maintain 3000. Charlie Golf, November, Bravo, X-ray, fly heading 180. Vectors for the visual, runway 28, climb to maintain 3000.
Come around to 180.
Charlie Golf, November, Bravo, X-ray, fly heading 180. Vectors for the visual, runway 28, climb to maintain 3000.
So that's above the 3,000 feet.
Charlie Golf,
Which we will try.
X-ray,
Going around.
Delta, Whiskey, altimeter 3044.
Echo, India, Delta, Whiskey, altimeter
Going around to 1.8.
3044. Charlie Golf,
We're never going to get up to 3,000 feet because this thing won't climb with 2 broken engines.
Fly heading 130. Vectors for the
Yep.
visual, runway 28, descend and maintain 3000. Charlie Golf, November, Bravo, X-ray, fly heading 020. Vectors for the visual, runway 28.
I'm going to pause this for a second. Oh, no, 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 no. What did I do?
Hold on.
Okay.